Crime Curious is a true crime podcast that takes an in-depth look into real cases through the lens of a trained investigator and former prosecutor turned judge.
If you are sensitive to expletives, anatomical descriptions, and accurate descriptions of crime scenes, this podcast may not be suitable for you.
Welcome to Crime Curious. I'm Charnel.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Jason.
Wow.
Brainbath Jason.
Brainbath Jason. See, are you wanting to pick and choose when you're called Brainbath Jason or when
Yes.
you're just called Jason?
Actually.
People have started writing us with your name in quotes like you're not a real person. They're like,
Brainbath Jason.
and Jason.
Whatever
Like,
he is.
That's
just
my
Jason.
real name.
I know, but it's funny because now that you've made a stink and you
Just
want to go
Jason.
by just Jason,
Jason.
now when people are writing us, they're like, Jason, quote
Right.
unquote, instead of Brainbath Jason.
We have Your Honor, the Doc, and Just Jason.
Right.
It's so much better Brain Bath.
It is.
Your Honor,
It
the
really
Doc, and
is.
the Brain Bath.
Oh, Lord. It's been, you guys, last week was a whirlwind. We hope
I
y'all
know.
survived. If you're listening,
Sucked ass.
it did.
Like,
if
literally.
you are
I woke up-
listening.
You
Went
know
to
how
bed Sunday night and was pretty much like, well, this is a fucking wash.
You know how she constantly tells us things that we don't know about, like Mercury being in retrograde? Clearly, Earth was in Uranus last week.
yeah,
It
something
was.
That's
was.
exactly
It
what had
was.
happened.
Just so you guys know, for perspective, this would have been the week of like April 13th,
Yes.
through the 17th. There was a lot of crazy energy.
Train wreck.
You can catch my other podcast if you want to really know the details about it. Divine Timing, spelled DEEVINE.
Dr.
Shameless.
D. Dr.
Shameless
D.
plug. Shameless plug. But I do talk about how crazy last week was. And there was a very specific purpose for it. This week brings clarity. It will be better. Woo-saw, everybody. This week
I feel
will be
better
better.
already. This is my safe place.
Yes.
Like, literally. Like, I was crabby before when I pulled in the driveway. I'm like, fucking tired.
Yes.
I'm in a
And
great mood now.
You are.
Exactly.
It's mostly
too.
Megan.
Welcome to our
Aw.
high vibrations. You are already on my
I'm
shit list. I don't think you should go down.
You're
on
welcome
it
for
more.
letting me vibrate you.
Right.
I think I missed it.
His mouth literally shook. He didn't know how he was responding.
What should I say? What should I say?
No, I like to leave him speechless.
It's like my dad and the brisket.
Oh.
That's not a general population
It is not. We cannot
Sorry,
talk
folks.
About the meat?
No, we cannot talk about Jason's dad's meat.
Yes, we can.
Not for Gen Pop.
I do have a wonderful case for Gen Pop that if you're a longtime listener, you may remember this as one of our favorite cases.
It's my
It
favorite
is Megan's
true
favorite
crime
case. I had
Old-time true crime.
Yeah. We covered this in 2021. I had to recover it with Megan and Jason on the podcast now because, first of all, it's Megan's literal favorite. It is up there tied for me with our top three because for me, the Tall Hot Blonde episode, the Anne Green episode where she survived her own hanging,
I love Anne
and then this are my all-time favorites. And so we're doing a good one today, a good redo, but hopefully you guys will enjoy the extra commentary with Megan and Jason now if you're a longtime listener and listened to it way back literally 5 years ago. Oh my Lord, 5 years.
We're old.
Crazy. We are. Been doing this a long time. So, Jason, what did you say? Oh, I know, I should. Let me tell you about Leonarda Cianciulli. Okay? It's a great story. She was born April 18th, 1893 in Montella Avellino, a province in southern Italy. Okay? And, you're not going to hate her. Technically, she's the perpetrator, but there's a lot about this case that you're going to be like, that tracks. I can see why. I might have.
You're going to find yourself saying, what would Crime Curious do?
Yeah, yep. Now, Leonarda was not born out of love. She was instead born out of hate, and let me explain what that means. Leonarda's mother, Amelia Dinolfi, she was very beautiful. She was of the upper class stock, and she had wealth. Her family had wealth in Montella, Italy. So She was highly sought after, and she was encroaching on marital age, and she had a very decent dowry to offer.
Like 14?
I'm saying marital age in
I'm sure.
Italy is what, like
To be honest
in
with
the
you,
late 1800s?
14, 15?
I'm guessing based on what happens.
Did you say 1863 or 93?
She was born in Leonarda ends up being born in 1893.
So her
Okay.
mama is getting married, obviously, before this at this point. And
Yep.
I can't imagine she was none too old.
Nope.
Right.
I doubt that she was. She was beautiful, and she was really looking forward to the fact that she was encroaching on marital age and had this beautiful dowry, which I can only assume came with a lot of cheese and a cow.
Yes.
So, she had things going for her.
Women were only worth their weight in cheese and cows.
Yes. If only
You
it
tried
were,
so hard.
I wish as a farmer's daughter that was still the case. I would have been so highly sought after.
Oh, yeah.
But instead,
You would have got like 95 pounds of cheese. It's like half a cow.
It's not,
It's not even a whole.
half a cow.
You're not even worth a whole cow.
She's worth a cow's leg. She's worth a feeder
my,
calf.
Right.
my family had a lot of cows and cheese.
Right.
So
So they
they
could
could
probably
have
get you a
offered.
good husband.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So I did great finding myself one. The second time, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Is it though?
I get
Her
get
dowry
along.
the first time was like a couple of chickens, a duck.
Like old eggs.
Yeah.
No, we joke, but I get along very, very well with my children's father. So we're blessed that
You
way.
guys both get along with your
We do.
exes relatively well.
We do.
Myself.
So here's the thing.
With that being said, let's talk about Leonardo.
Leonardo's
Does
mother.
she get along with her?
We'll just
Well,
listen.
Leonardo's mother, Amelia, she was one of Montella's most eligible bachelorettes, you could say. She had a bright future ahead of her, and she knew it. She was noticed around the small town, which meant that men like Marino Cianciulli also noticed the beauty of Amelia. The problem is, Marino had nothing going for him. No money, no reputation, was lower class, and let's just put the cherry on top, he was an alcoholic.
But he was hung like a mule.
No. I'm guessing based on what he does, no.
Oh, okay.
One
A
night,
hairstylist?
one night, no, what he does in the case, not as for work. Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
One night when Amelia was walking home alone from a chaperoned dinner party because her house was only down the block.
I forgot.
Yeah. Marino had spent the night drinking cheap wine and stalking her estate. He was jealous of her on her pedestal and wanted to take her down a few pegs. So he followed Amelia and crept from the shadows. He drug her to a field and he sexually assaulted her. She lay bleeding for several hours, muddy and feeling shame. Now remember, at this point in time, it's the 1800s, and now she's no longer a virgin, and
She's
that
ruined.
time, it's her fault, right?
It's her fault that she was sexually assaulted in a field.
Yep. It would be months before it was realized that Amelia was with child conceived from the rape. So she brought shame on the family. So they made her marry Mariano. I
Her
think I called him
perpetrator.
Marino.
Her
but it's
perpetrator.
Mariano. Apologies. Don't at me about saying it wrong the first time. I actually typed it wrong, and I think I did this in the first episode too.
You did.
His name is Mariano Cianciulli. So they make her marry him, even though he's of low class. He's an alcoholic. He, of course, and oh, by the way, he's much older than her. By the by, don't think I needed to even say that. That much is probably
Yeah, like,
obvious.
he gets to commit a heinous crime
I
against
was
another person
so-
and gets to marry this beautiful girl.
I don't know if I should blame the late 1800s or Italy. Or
All of it,
both.
just humans. How about
Humans.
what are humans and fuck the
Yeah.
patriarchy? Because my God.
Because she was ruined because she got assaulted, so therefore she now has to marry this
She was
guy, so it's
probably-
not a sin.
Probably showing some ankle.
I hate it when they show the
I'm
info.
sure. It's the
Just-
sexiest part of the
Just
body.
asking for it, right?
So he's elated because he just got anything he ever wanted, right? Well, Mariano raped her constantly after the forced marriage and beat her physically very frequently, especially after a night out drinking with his friends.
But it's okay now because she belongs to him.
Right,
Because
so
they're
he's-
married, so
yeah.
he can rape her.
It's legal.
In this time
he can do
frame.
that and beat
it's
her.
weird that Leonarda?
So
How do we say her first name?
Amelia is who we're talking about right now, her mom, but Leonarda is the baby that is born from
yes.
this rape.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yep. I figured you weren't paying attention to those details because you struggle to listen a lot of the time.
See what's happening.
Well, am I wrong?
I was listening
No.
to the story. I just
Yes.
got the names confused.
Leonarda, this is why Leonarda was born out of hate instead of love.
I get it now.
Yeah, she was a child of rape. And so her mom, though, Amelia, she goes from living in luxury to living in squalor, which her family believed was a just punishment for the way she had, been a victim of sexual assault.
Right.
And they cut their ties with her.
So they got rid of her.
They
They
did.
gave her away to
Because she
her
smeared
perpetrator.
the family's name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, as I already explained on the night of the rape, Leonarda Cianciulli was conceived. Needless to say, on April 18th, 1893, when Leonarda came into the world, after days of Amelia being in labor, alone and scared, Mariano was off on one of his drinking binges. One of the women in the village did take pity on her and helped her like a midwife would. And so did a couple other women in the village. Now, Leonarda was not a welcome sight to her mother. Her conception had been traumatic. Her birth had been traumatic. Amelia actually passed out and then came to like several hours later. So she's now
With a baby.
With a baby. Mm-hmm.
That she never wanted.
And
That
all
was
alone.
not conceived in love.
And all alone, because of course, Mariano is out there boozing it up. And now bitter and probably committing other sexual
I was
assaults,
just gonna
by
say,
the way.
he's like-
He's definitely didn't stop.
No.
her.
No.
If you sexual assault one beautiful girl on
Yep.
the side of the road, you're
Yep.
going to do it again.
Of course. It's a tale as old as time. And now, bitter and mostly alone except for her abusive husband, Amelia had to raise Leonarda. And in her mind, Leonarda is who ruined her life, right? She's completely displacing her anger onto the child. So, of course, Leonarda's childhood is abusive. It's neglectful and traumatic. And this isn't a shocker, there was no love. So they moved around a lot because Mariano was a piece of shit and he didn't provide. So they got kicked out of a lot of places for not paying rent. All of Amelia's power over her life had been stolen from the night of the sexual assault. So she took all of her anger, her rage, her resentment, and feelings of powerlessness out on Leonarda. Her child was the only thing that she did have power over. Now, Leonarda does not really remember her father, but he was gone, drunk a lot. And then when Leonarda was 3 years old, he went on a drinking binge and didn't return. It took days for Amelia to even realize something was wrong because that's how frequently he would go on binges and not be home. He was taken in by a friend and he lay sick with fever. Mariano was almost...
Probably syphilis.
I was gonna say.
I'm going to guess it. Yeah. Yep. Mariano was almost gone at the time, but they got him home. And then that's when Amelia's like, oh, he hasn't been drinking. He's just been gone this whole time dying. She didn't even attempt to nurse him back to health. She
No.
let him lay there and die. And yeah, right?
No pity.
Right.
I-
How do
No.
you
Finding
have
it a little
empathy?
bit hard to. I don't have
No.
any currently.
I mean, I think that's the nicest thing she could have done to him.
Yes.
She didn't try to prolong his suffering by keeping him alive
No.
in
She
any
didn't,
way,
she
shape,
didn't
or form.
actively kill him.
Nope.
No.
No, she just let him lay there and nature take its course from the consequences of his actions.
I mean, just so you know, that today would definitely be a crime,
Yes.
but
Yes.
I don't believe it would have been then. I mean,
But this is the wild, wild 1800s.
right.
Yeah. Now, this one, though,
The
women...
wild, wild Welsh.
the wild, wild Welsh. Yes. She even spat in his grave and said
Those
that...
Italian, that's a fucking
Yeah,
curse.
It
that's,
sure-
it is.
Oh,
That's
we'll
some
get to
gypsy-
the
that's some
curses.
gypsy shit.
Yeah.
We will get to the curses,
It's a
you guys.
curse.
That man, she says, and I quote, that man was a pig, and it's for the best we are rid of him. Yep.
Huck to it.
Yes.
Nope.
I was trying not to go there, but I
No.
realized the second that sound was out of my throat that you were going to go there. So she abandoned Leonarda even more because now
She's free.
she is free. She is single, ready to mingle, and she can get out to her evenings at court like she loved before her life was taken from her. So for 3 years, she's lived in squalor. She has had to deal with abuse and sexual assault. And so at this time, now that she has been properly widowed,
Right.
she hoped to regain some of her socialite status that she had lost. Okay. And she did end up remarrying a man who was slightly better off financially and did give her lavish gifts, which she enjoyed. But he spent money as fast as he made it. I can relate to that. She was alone even more now, because Leonarda, that is, because her mom was out at night eating and drinking away the money that her husband was making. So Leonarda herself was left home to scrape by scraps at the house. She has anxiety issues. Obviously, we know her abusive childhood. By 12, she attempts her first suicide attempt. This isn't shocking at all. Honestly, I
No,
wonder
it's
what the
sad.
real rates were. They weren't documented back then, you guys. So I think that there was probably a lot more teenage suicide than we even realize. She tried this by tying filthy bed sheets around her neck and attempted to hang herself, which did not work. It did, however, leave some significant bruising on her neck, which her mother saw and didn't make a single remark about. At least she didn't tell her how to do it better next time, but she also just didn't acknowledge it.
She definitely wouldn't have cared.
No, not at all. She tried again less than a year later at 13, and it didn't work again. Once again, her mother also ignored her again. Once Leonarda became of marrying age, now Amelia's got a sudden interest in her.
She has
All of a sudden,
something-
she remembers, I have a daughter.
Yes. Chettle. I have Chettle.
You do. And Leonarda is...
Are you looking at me funny?
Yeah,
do you
what'd
not
say?
know that name?
Chattel.
Or that word?
Chattel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Chattel. So chattel is the kind of common law terminology for property. And at the time, in that time frame, humans were like animals, and they were considered chattel, real tangible property.
I don't think I've ever heard that
So
term.
there's real
really?
property and chattel.
You
Well,
probably have, but you weren't paying attention.
I highly recommend accumulating $150,000 in student loan debt and going to law school. You learn it
Right.
1 year.
Cool.
I didn't go to law school and knew what that
Right.
meant.
Well, you're a reader of the true crimes.
I was going to say, I do a lot of reading, though. I do.
I do.
I do a lot of reading. Now here's the thing. Leonarda, for the time, I mean, don't look her up, but she was pretty
No,
for
look her
the
up.
time.
For the times.
If you look her up now, you would wonder what's going on. But
1908.
yeah, not having the right skincare routine and hair care routine,
Yeah.
she was as gorgeous as humans could get, right? And she was pretty like her mom because she had that Denolfi blood after all. So this
She was a handsome woman.
She was. This was her mother's chance to find a.
Sturdy?
Oh,
She have the
yeah.
childbearing hips?
Yeah, but I actually think she was petite too, like in stature. But she did. I mean, they all had.
Short and curvy.
Yeah.
I don't have a type. Shut up.
Nobody said anything.
He did. He called himself out when I said short and curvy.
Funny. So this is her mother's chance to find a suitable husband for her daughter and get her social status back and locked
Yes,
in.
ma'am.
Right? I can just picture her out there wheeling and dealing in her daughter's sex organs, right? Just trying to really hype her up. I've got this beautiful teenage daughter. She's probably 15 at this time. I don't know. What we do know is that Amelia loved having a daughter of marrying age and going out at night to court and trying to find a proper suitor, that she drug it out as long as possible. So, again, her mom and stepdad are out whining and dining, and she's still home
Starving.
by herself. And Leonarda herself saw marriage as the only way out of her mother's home, and she was desperate to be rid of her mom. So she was also trying to make connections of prospects for herself. Now, at this point, I told you that Amelia drew it out for a long time. Leonarda is 23 years old, single, ready to mingle.
23,
23.
Jason. She's damn near an old maid. She's a dowager at this
You
point.
wouldn't have even proposed to that. Nope.
She would have been way too old for you if you were 40.
Yep. In your 40s.
Right.
It's fair. I don't.
Nope. At this time, absolutely. Her mom was continuing. What's happening is they're both looking for suitors at the same time. And Leonarda knew her mom was, but Amelia didn't know that Leonarda was also out at night trying to make connections for herself. So in 1917, Leonarda had had enough, and she took matters into her own hands by narrowing her prospects down to one man, Raphael Pansardi, who was several years older than she, that's no surprise, and had a low, I was a little offended by this, had a low-paying government job doing clerical work.
Right.
You
Same,
leave
Leonarda.
you leave those government workers alone, okay? We're out here doing the Lord's work.
That's right.
Amelia was so pissed because Leonarda had accepted Raphael's proposal, and Amelia is so mad she refuses to attend the ceremony. Once she's married, Leonarda returned home to gather her meager things. So, her what would she have?
Her
A
extra
sewing
petty-
kit?
her extra
Her
petticoat.
spare slippers.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she grabbed her things that she had.
Yeah.
And as she's leaving, this is where things go terribly wrong. Her mother does not physically harm her, as she was prone to doing even into her 20s as an adult. Instead, she did something much worse. Amelia cursed the marriage. Abuse and insults she could have handled. But a curse to wish nothing but evil to befall Leonarda, that was the worst thing that she could have done as an Italian woman. And she did. And I imagine she also spat while
For
she
sure.
did it. Remember, Leonarda had anxiety from her childhood and likely other unknown mental health issues stemming from her relationship with her mother and her
She-
childhood.
She cast the evil eye on her.
So basically what Leonardo does now is look at every single thing that goes wrong in her life as confirmation of the power of her mother's curse. And do you know what I tell my spiritual clients all the time? Things like this, energy like this, only has as much power over you as you
give it.
allow.
Yes.
And Leonarda leaned into this because she believed in this curse. She believed in the power of the curse, and she truly drew everything to herself and chalked it up to this moment in time where her mother cursed her marriage. Italian curses are nothing to take lightly. And remember, it's 1917. They're even more powerful, I'd say, than they are today. According to the book, The Curse, quote, her nervous disposition was no longer reinforced by her mother's berating, but instead, an internal critic had taken up the mantle of abuser. Nobody needed to tell Leonarda that she was failing in her role as a wife when she was so convinced of it herself. Raphael was a kind and reasonable man who couldn't understand his wife's eccentricities. He didn't understand why she wept when his dinner was burnt or cowered away from him when she stained the washing. He couldn't understand why every minor inconvenience seemed to be a huge dramatic crisis in her mind, end quote. He is seeing trauma and he doesn't understand it.
And she's so lucky. Like, she can't even enjoy that she's married to a man completely different than her father and anything she's ever experienced. This seems, for all intents and purposes, a kind man.
He was, yes. I mean, he works for the government, so he's got to be good, right? But I was, guys, total
From
joke.
the government here to help.
Right.
Did you make a list of all the shit you need to say to me on just
Yes.
pulling it out on air?
No, I'm just pulling it out of thin air. I promise I did
had a
not make a
list.
list. No, I didn't. You can see my notes here. None of this is just off the cuff, my friend. To make matters worse, her anxiety also triggered seizures.
I know.
And I'm sure I'm sure she has brain trauma from the abuse, okay? Sure. But it turns out that she was epileptic and they were stress-induced. Of course, we know this now. But then she believed her failing health to be from the curse, which then only made her anxiety worse.
Well, she was cursed to begin with because she was a child of rape, right?
Exactly. This makes her anxiety worse, which only made her seizures worse, and now she's having grand mals. This led her to believe that she was going to die at a young age. So She went to a fortune teller to learn more about her life and how she could beat the curse.
Not all fortune tellers are good fortune tellers.
That's for sure,
They're not all
especially
nice
not at
people.
1917.
Right.
There were travelers called Romani, which she actually shared blood with from her father's side, but her mother had always warned her about them. She was desperate, so she sought one out when they were in town and begged the woman for a reading. The woman actually reluctantly took her palm and assured Leonarda that she was going to live for a very long time. She told her that the seizures and headaches were not a cause of the curse, but rather a sickness, and that she did not need to be afraid. She was so relieved to hear all of this that she nearly missed when the teller also told her, "You are going to live a long life full of sadness. You will outlive every one of your children." I will tell you, this fortune teller's claims were 100% spot on. Everything that she said was true.
So think about it, though. Leonarda comes from this really spiritual family in general in terms of energy, because her mom is some type of an Italian witch.
Who's cursed her?
And then her father's side is Romani, and that is commonly known as being a gypsy, by the way, but that's actually considered a derogatory term, so we don't say that.
Exactly.
So there, but the family they all originate from is the Romani family.
Right. Now here we go. Leonarda, she continues. I keep wanting to call her Leonardo, like the turtle.
Heroes in a half shell.
Not
gonna finish?
Not like the painter.
No, I was
but I know
thinking
I
of the
was
song "Hey Leonardo."
Oh,
Somebody say turtle power. We can't go.
turtle power.
Turtle power.
Thank you.
No, I
Heroes
know.
in a half shell.
Turtle power. I truly thought somebody was going to pick me up there when I had started to say
Sorry.
Leonardo the.
Honestly, my head went to Da Vinci, not turtles, but
Well,
there's that.
I was trying to explain. I'm sorry that it wasn't Da Vinci that I should have went to. Instead, I went to the mutant turtle. That's where I am in
Yeah.
time and space today.
It's okay.
Okay. 3 years into the marriage, despite their economic hardships and Leonardo's health concerns, they still wanted to have a family of their own. She assumed that they would get pregnant. After all, her mother told her over and over how much the family's fertility was a curse on her, meaning Amelia. Amelia considers herself cursed because she bore a child from the rape, right?
Which is the first and possibly one of the only times she had sex. But this woman never had more kids.
She did not.
Right.
So
did not.
fertile, really, Amelia?
So she's but this is where Leonarda is coming from. Like my
Right.
mom says our fertility is a curse, so of course I'm going to get pregnant right away. It actually took them 3 years to get pregnant, and within 3 months of getting pregnant, she suffered a terrible and painful miscarriage. This solidified to her that her mother's curse was real and was working in full force. Not to mention the fortune teller's reading that she will outlive all of her children.
Right.
So they decided to try and move out of the region after the first traumatic miscarriage and hope that they could just escape the clutches of the curse, maybe start new and fresh, right?
Can you imagine moving because your mindset is so firmly believes that you've been cursed that you literally move towns?
Like you're just trying to... I
No.
can see moving out of a house that you think is haunted and
Or
you
that
can't
has
find
bad
the appropriate
energy.
way to get rid of it. Sure.
This
But-
state is giving me bad energy right now because it's 40 degrees.
I know.
I'm going to need to go to
gonna be
like
fine tomorrow.
Louisiana, Florida.
Florida. That'd
Yeah.
be great. It was 75 on Saturday. It is now Monday, and it was 40 today.
It's bullshit.
Awful.
75 tomorrow, though.
It is
is
75
totally
tomorrow.
normal
I
for
know. I'll have a
spring.
migraine.
Correct.
So they moved around a while doing meager jobs while they traveled to buy food. And this made her anxiety worse, which made her seizures worse, which made it impossible for her to have a steady job, also to conceive.
Right.
They settle in 1921 in Raphael's childhood home. By the way, I said Leonardo and Raphael.
Raphael.
We are in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle origin story
Yeah, if you
right now.
Michelangelo and Donatello me, I'm going to come unglued.
It is an Italian case. It could.
I almost died.
What did you do?
I didn't realize that my microphone was
In front
on
of you?
on the edge. It was on the edge, and I put my hand down, and it just slowly started
Slid.
to fall.
Rookie.
I know.
Time.
Every time it hits me in the face.
So Raphael's childhood home, they settle in, and it's called Loria Panza. I forgot to look up I looked up every place except
How's
for
it
that one.
spelled?
Potenza, Potenza, Potenza.
Potenza.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, Gloria. They had saved enough from a agriculture job that they had, and they put a deposit down on a small house. They worked very hard, by the way, in fields. They were field workers. It was warmer here in southern Italy and seemed to really fit them. Leonarda was slowly coming out of her fears of her mother's curse, and things were going well. She started to realize if she kept herself calm, that she could keep the seizures at bay, because remember, they were stress-induced.
Yeah.
And so they were not a supernatural force out of her control, but something that she did have control over. She even becomes pregnant, and she carries the child to full term, her firstborn son, Giuseppe, in 1922. He was perfect. She was totally in love, and he was a miracle because he had beaten the curse. She pampered him, doted on him, and now her entire existence is for him and to keep him safe. She decided motherhood was her calling and that they could make do off of one income. Well, she then suffers another miscarriage that was caused by having a seizure and falling down during the seizure. This solidified to her even more what a miracle Giuseppe was. They tried over and over to have children, and over she would miscarry. Then all of a sudden, she was able to give birth to 2 daughters right in a row, and then another son. She was beating the curse at last. Then the children began to fall sick. Coughs, rashes, breathing problems, unsanitary conditions.
Yeah.
The plague is run rampant,
Probably
all those things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Normal childhood illnesses
Right.
that went horribly bad.
One of her daughters died coughing in her arms, lungs filled with fluid as just a toddler. Very soon after burying her daughter, her infant son was found passed away in his crib. Doctors had no explanation, and no one wanted to do an autopsy. So, she has 1 daughter and still her eldest son, Giuseppe, alive. She became so paranoid that the children couldn't go outside to play. She would not let them escape. Especially Giuseppe, her favorite, out of her sight.
The miracle baby.
It was extreme. Her grief was maddening, and she would rip her hair out of her head. Raphael genuinely loved Leonarda and knew that their life was not easy, and she picked him out of love instead of wealth. So he tried to be gentle with her and let her do with the children as she needed to do to feel safe. Now,
This is mental illness level of overprotectiveness, though, right? Like,
Yes.
these kids aren't getting to go outside and even subject themselves to appropriate germs, like children going outside. So now I don't know that she's realizing she's immunocompromising her own children by having them in the house.
And they get no sunlight, no
Right.
vitamin D,
Because she's literally
Almost-
afraid, Chicken Little style.
Yep. Now, what ends up happening is Raphael helps pick her up each time and convince her to keep having children. Because he probably wanted to continue to get laid. I'm just kidding. He seems like a great guy. But
He's
still.
like,
Even great guys are horny all the time.
They are, but he's also thinking the only time my wife is happy is when there's a baby in her arms.
That's true.
So I'm just going to keep giving her what makes her happy. And it just so happens that the way of doing that makes me very happy.
Very happy. So Raphael continues to give the dick. And in short, Leonarda has 17 pregnancies in total. 3 she loses to miscarriage due to seizures. And brace yourself, 10 children that she bears all die of illness before they reach their 3rd birthday.
Jason, are you like, isn't this awful?
Just stop.
I know. She couldn't. She wanted to be,
She
you know,
wanted
The curse
to be
is
a
real.
mom.
Stop
She's
it.
she
the curse is
the curse
real.
is real. Stop. She's tried to.
I feel like.
Do you think she was cursed?
Well, I feel
Oh,
like
she
after-
clearly
after
was
the
cursed.
3 miscarriages are awful, and she had health issues. But after
I think
like,
she clearly had
after
medical
your,
issues.
After your 8th child dies before the age of 3, maybe you should be like,
Right. Perhaps this is not humane anymore. Yeah.
For her.
For her. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's too much. And they're two children that are living,
right,
that are
yeah.
surviving,
like,
Giuseppe
oh,
and the
I have
daughter.
a sister. I'm like, don't get attached.
Right. That's 100%. I mean, at this point, Giuseppe's got to probably be like, I'll
yeah.
believe it when he turns 5.
Right.
Right.
Oh my God, that's so
He probably
awful.
just stares at those kids like,
God.
She buried 10 children. She lost 3, and so the remaining 4 are all that she has, and her attachment to them was unhealthy, even Raphael could see that, right? So, because remember I said she got pregnant 17 times. 10 of them died. Miscarried 3. Yep. So she has 4 children. So he gets her a part-time cleaning job around town so that she would have some time away in the evenings. She decided that while she's doing this cleaning job, she had to make her own soaps. This is very important, Jason. She has to make her own soaps for these cleaning jobs. And it was at one of these cleaning jobs that her 10th child had passed, and they actually just waited until she came home to tell her. She was convinced.
Can you imagine? You've lost so many children that they don't even come get you from work anymore.
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
she'll be home soon.
Right. Why dock her wages? We need the money more than she needs to know this right now.
She walks in the house and she's like, I lost another.
Mm-hmm.
You think she comes home and does a head count? And she's like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
100%. She was convinced that they needed to move out of the city where disease spread so widely. So Giuseppe would be safe. But they needed money to do that. Mm-hmm. So she's cleaning at a bank. She commits a little bit of fraud. Okay. She goes to prison.
These are crimes of necessity, by the way.
They are, because she's just trying to get
now
money.
You wouldn't go to prison for something like that, probably.
No.
Ish. Probation.
She went to prison in 1927 for 18 months. And her time in prison, she really only worried about Giuseppe. So now they're outcasts of society in Lauria. And, you know, unfortunately, Raphael, Rafe, whatever we want to call him for short. Rafi. He lost his job because of what his wife had done.
Right.
He's a
guilty by association.
He's a government worker.
Yeah.
They can't have fraudulent wives of government workers.
No, it's not good stock. Bad.
No. So when she gets out 18 months later, they pack up and they have to move once again. Now, Raphael Pascardi did still have some family willing to help. So they sold their home and they moved to the town of Lacedonia Avellino, where Raphael gets a clerical job that came with a little house on the river. And it was actually really sought after real estate, which I think is pretty good. Now, remember, no one else knows of her crimes. What a time to be alive. Right. There's no
criminal history check.
Yeah, no. Background check.
You just start over every town you move to.
You just judge someone based on how they're dressed in front of you and their aura a little bit and decide.
Probably how they look.
Yep.
Clerical job, gotta look kind of nice.
Here you go.
Dealing with the public, gotta be a little pretty.
Yes.
The rest of you, field workers.
Yep. The rest field work, exactly. But
it's growing semolina for the pasta. Sorry.
It's cool that they gave a little house on a river, right?
Clearly, it came obviously with that job.
It did.
So, like a manse if you were a religious person.
They began to thrive here. The kids were happy. They had more money, and everyone was happy. This was a place where fortune tellers were also known to roam through. And when she became pregnant again, at this point in Avellino, they only had 2 children, but they do end up having 4. So when this fortune teller comes through, when they live here, she needed to know, is this one going to die too? So they go to the fortune teller, and she tells Leonarda, in one hand, I can see prison. In the other, an asylum. Now, this was terrifying to her because a prison she can handle and already had, but an asylum, no. She gave birth to a healthy baby boy, but kept herself at a huge state of detachment, just waiting for the other shoe of doom to drop. She would not pick the baby up for fear of dropping it because of her seizures. Seizures were in full force again. Of course, they're in full force again because she's stressed. She had just felt this entire sense of huge doom looming over her and her family. She continued to seek fortune tellers for answers, and she would take long walks at night to try to settle it, but she couldn't shake it. Wow. Apparently, all of a sudden, I can't read and talk. Oh. She started collecting books on the subject of fortune telling, and then even the occult, Wicca, and other Italian forms of craft.
Listen, she's going to do anything she can to counteract this at this point and
Yes.
fight back. So knowledge is power.
I can't say that I wouldn't have done the same thing.
100% would have.
Mm-hmm. She ended up having one of the most extensive collections in all of Italy, FYI. In 1930, the harvest season in Lacedonia was a full town affair. Everyone stopped what they were doing to go into the fields and harvest. They even slept in the fields. So, while they're sleeping. Now, remember, she was having these feelings of doom and gloom, right? They're sleeping in the fields when all of a sudden an earthquake hits. And she is terrified, obviously, right? The death toll of what is known as the Irpina earthquake was over 1,400 people, almost all of them in Avellino, Lacedonia.
They literally moved to the future site of one of the most deadly earthquakes of their time.
In the region. Mm-hmm. Every single home was destroyed, including their little home. And the aftershocks did not stop for days. It would be 40 years before serious reconstruction actually took place. So, this had a profound psychological impact on Leonarda. She believed this catastrophic event was her doing. It was her curse. She was responsible for this. She is also a bit of a narcissist that literally believed the world revolved around her and that she had control over all the happenings.
But she was clearly mentally ill, and it was like this narcissism that's not a good narcissism. Like, her narcissism wasn't based off of her being the center of the world in a good way. It was like, I am bringing fucking doom everywhere I go, to everyone I love. Everyone stay away from me. I am a curse.
Catastrophic thinking.
One of the 4 horsemen in night.
Correct. Or either that or they're following her constantly.
Yep. Just catastrophic thinking. So they're forced to move on. They're a family of 6. They have 2 boys and 2 girls at this time. But really, it's only Giuseppe that's the one that matters. They settle into a little town called Correggio. What's interesting is that they were known refugees from the catastrophic earthquake, so the town was super accepting of them and really welcoming.
Also didn't know she had gone to prison.
Of course not. Raphael got a clerical job right away. They settled into a house that had a shop attachment in the front. This is great.
Is important.
It is very important. Shell-shocked, she didn't speak, and basically Leonardo stared at the wall and was catatonic for quite some time. Yeah, she's struggling. Then she starts to feel this great sense of relief that the doom had been unleashed through the catastrophic earthquake, so she no longer felt that she needed to watch the children every single second of the day. And I do understand this, this thinking too. It's like she came out of a fog and wanted to be a better person. So she started doting on her husband and children and wanted to return the favor of the town for the kindness that they had shown her family when they arrived. She wrote poetry and shared it with women in the town, and they all loved it. Things were going really well. They had a savings for the first time. She takes to making soaps, and she becomes super famous for it. Because remember, she had to make soaps when she was a cleaning lady. She had to make her own soaps. And she's got all of those books on the occult and witchcraft and, which, of course, comes with those candle making things and all of that.
Any type of herbology and using salves. I mean, women went to you in secret for help with these type of things.
I would love to get my hands on those books.
Oh, my mom probably has some. She is an epic old witch.
Yes, I know. I
say that in the kindest way.
Yes. Oh, me too. I adore her for it. So since she was studying various spiritual folk magic and herbal remedies, at first it was to break the curse, or to at least keep it at bay. Now she's using these books as a way to help the women in the town. Some of it we would kind of see as like voodoo today.
Yeah.
Okay. But her soaps end up being popular throughout Italy. But her advice and readings were more of a local secret.
I feel like she's the one, I'm going to go to her for a love spell for the guy that, you like, and you're like, Leonarda, will you make me a soap or a special tincture so I can give this to the person whom I love?
Yep. Need help finding a husband? Go see the soap maker.
Go see Leonarda. Go see the soap maker.
That's what they'd say. Need advice on a job? Go see the soap maker. Her status was acceptance.
I have a tattoo, by the way. It says, go see the... No, I'm kidding.
I do want to say...
Do you want to go see the soap maker tattoos with me,
Chanel? I totally forgot to wear my shirt that you gave me.
I know.
Because that was on my list to do today, and
you should go change.
Yeah, I completely forgot. We should pause this and go change. Chanel. Go change. Right.
Does it say go see the soap maker?
No.
No, it is a Leonarda T-shirt, though. What the hell does it say? It's just upstairs. I will get it for the...
I think it's an apothecary shirt.
It is an apothecary shirt. Yes, but it was.
I keep
I
waiting to
did
hear
mean
like
to
she
wear
made
this.
the soap out of something awful. Like
Honey,
the
just
Fun
wait.
Just sit
We're
back.
not done.
I'm not wrong.
We're not
Babes,
done.
sit back and relax.
Take a load off. Chant a little.
Yep. Light a candle.
Cross your legs real tight.
She gets into the higher circles. Yeah. Okay, her status was accepted amongst the higher circles for the first time in her life. And the thing is, though, even with things going well, she still wanted to ensure that the curse could not affect their life anymore. So she's still learning and practicing for these reasons. She would leave talismans or under Giuseppe's pillow and hang things over their kids' beds, that kind of thing. But like she would have, a wing of a bird here, a carcass of a mouse there, the usual normal stuff, right? She became known as a fixer. Are you knocked up? Well, she's got a tonic that will strip that baby. Can't get an erection? Well, she's got a tonic that's going to make you vigorous as a stallion.
It's probably ground raccoon bones.
Probably. It might be. In 1939, nearly a decade after they built a solid life for themselves, and Leonarda had a more stable state of mind, World War II breaks out. Giuseppe is a man of 17 years old at this point. He wants out of his mother's home, which in his point of view was pretty chaotic and nuts. Okay? They're as stable as they ever have been, but it's still not stable living with a mentally ill mother, right? And who's overbearing. Like, she is the opposite of her mother. Her mother was abusive to the extreme.
And neglectful.
Leonarda is too involved and too protective.
Of his ass all day.
She's a helicopter mom.
Yep. And Giuseppe, he wants to be a war hero. So he's going to join the efforts and save Mother Italy. The people of Correggio congratulated him on his bravery. His mother, however, slipped back into madness of fear, and this is how the curse was going to take her miracle baby. He was surely going to die in war. So,
what's the status of the other kids at this point?
oh, they're there. Yeah, they're there.
They're just still non-existent to her.
Yeah,
Right.
they're just
like,
not Giuseppe.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's just assuming they're going to die.
But I just want to be clear. Like, I don't think she was neglectful of them. She was still overprotective of them, too. She just had a favorite. She clearly favored Giuseppe.
Very, very, very much so. So here she is terrified he's going to die in war. So she did what any loving mother would do. She devised a plan for how she could guarantee his utter protection while away at the war. She started dealing in what was known as fatucari, which translates into undertakers in English. Fatucari, and this would be the biggest magical workings she has ever attempted, would require her to cloak him with protection on the inside and out. But with most things in mystical traditions, there was what's known as a law of equal exchange. So in order to save one life, she would need to take another. At this point, she is up most every night writing out spells, mumbling to herself and constantly cooking things on the stove in her shop, which was so popular, it was always a bustle with people. Her shop, that is. Her shop was very, very busy. What she had worked out through her readings is that she would need to take a life and then transfer it somehow in equal exchange to Giuseppe before he left for war. She was making a Horcrux. And she's clearly manic.
Literally.
So he could live on if something happened.
She's manic. Maybe Miss Rowling had heard Leonarda's story before she made Harry Potter, right?
Maybe.
Now, Leonarda had never considered murder before. She enjoyed helping people in the town, and she legitimately was.
Is it murder if it's a mercy and if it's somebody who no one will care about for your beloved Giuseppe?
Well, I mean, that's how
yeah. The answer is
the
yes.
answer is yes. It is
I was
murder.
waiting to answer. I'm like,
but if you're
you want
looking
me
at
to say
it, I
something?
do, because this is how out of touch with reality this woman has become.
Yes.
She is severely mentally ill.
She is. She's manic, and she's not sleeping because she's staying up all night writing these spells.
Have you ever not slept for like 48 hours before?
Yeah, it's
how
absolutely
utterly
terrible.
crazy you feel when that happens.
Yep.
I've been there.
From
and
the inside out.
You feel
You do.
crazy.
You
It's
do.
how women dealing with menopause, just so you know. It's just a constant state of
And
feeling
after
like
we
you're
have
nuts.
babies.
Yes.
So
he looks damaged.
it's
Scarred
like,
even.
Ooh, boy.
Afraid to talk sometimes.
Yeah, it's okay. We know what you're thinking.
So she, as I said, she's enjoying helping people in town, but none of this matters now. All that matters is her belief that she was cursed, that she would outlive all of her children, and she needed to do whatever was necessary to keep the curse at bay and save Giuseppe. She knew if she killed, she wanted it to be as painless for the victim as possible, and she wanted to ensure that there was no way she could get caught. You know, the norm. It took her a bit, but she figured out by her mediums by which she would transfer the life that she took to her son, the life to save. She would do it with the gifts that were given to her, because at this point, she truly believes the reason that she was given these crafts were for all of this life's purpose, for Giuseppe, to save Giuseppe, okay? Those, like in her little crafter, right? Things that are in her craft, is her ability to cook and her ability to make soap. Those are her biggest gifts that she sees for her craft. So, finding a victim for Leonarda was not hard. Think about her position in the community. She had appointments every day with women that she would manipulate through her readings. Not intentionally, but now she can. One woman named Faustina Setti was a regular. She had troubles with love. She was a 40-year-old spinster. Hey, now.
That's pretty much the end of the list of why.
Yeah.
Like, that's... I think we found the source, Faustina.
You're
old.
Faustina
Too old for love.
She was a 40-year-old spinster, which was a disgrace to her family. She was the butt of every joke about spinsters in the town. No man wanted her. Oh, the way Leonarda resonated with that reason alone, that the reason that she's saying, Faustina, you've not been able to make a match, was because you're just not fated to wed. She had stayed a virgin all these years to answer a higher, to her higher calling.
She wanted to save a gift for her husband.
And she's saying...
I think it's funny you make it sound like it was her choice.
I know. Also,
I'm sure
how
someone
do we really
would have deflowered her. I'm sure she could have been deflowered. Apparently,
we don't know what Faustina looked like.
We don't know. Faustina could have been slumming it on the sides and just pretending to be a spinster. We don't actually know.
Right.
But here Leonardo is reasoning the whole reason why she hasn't been able to find love, why no man has taken her to his bed, excuse me.
She has a lot of cats.
No,
Jesus.
is because she was born to protect my miracle child.
She had a higher purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It was death.
So during the next reading, Leonarda tells Faustina that she has a suitor, but she must keep it a secret. She makes her write letters that she can postmark later, that she was to wed a man in Pola. After all, she had already foreseen that she will make it there safely. All right? So she is setting up for Faustina. Write these letters talking about marrying a man in Pola.
Oh,
Out of
It
town.
took me a second. Hold on. I caught up.
Do you
I'm
see
good.
what we're
I see what's
doing
happening
now?
here.
Listen.
And you can post
Leonarda
them.
may have been going crazy, but she wasn't stupid.
yeah.
She wasn't. You can postmark these for a later date because I've already foretold to you that this will happen.
You'll make it there safely, and the love of your life will be waiting.
Yep. He is waiting for you. The mail service was spotty, and she was saying, I don't want your friends and family to worry. And so this is a necessity. You need to write this letter that there is a suitor. You have met a suitor because you will meet a suitor. And you're going to marry him in Pola. So, here Faustina arrives because Leonarda is going to help her, get on the train, right? She brings all of her belongings. She arrives early with her things, as a matter of fact. Now, Leonarda's energy was off the charts, and she had Faustina and the setting already, nervous Faustina on edge. So, Faustina is nervous. Faustina can feel Leonarda's nervous energy. Leonarda is like, oh, it's going to be great when you meet this man that's in love with you for the first time and he takes you into his arms and blah, blah, blah. So Faustina thinks nothing of it when Leonarda hands her a glass of red wine to calm her nerves. Now, it tasted funny, but that didn't matter to Faustina because she is about to meet the man of her dreams.
And you can't be rude.
You can't.
Someone offered you weird tasting drink in the early 1900s. You drank it.
You drink it. It's 1937, but still.
Was it the early 1900s?
It is.
Still.
It is. Of course, it was laced with poison. Faustina became sleepy and dizzy, and Leonarda was suddenly gone and then back again. Trigger warning, with an axe. Now, here's the thing, though. The axe was too heavy for Leonarda. She hadn't thought the whole plan through. And her first swing, again, trigger alert, it misses its mark. And it went into Faustina's shoulder. Now, although Faustina is poisoned, she does cry out because a axe just went haphazardly into her shoulder. At this point in time, Leonarda is panicking at the sight and the smell of blood because, again, she didn't think this through.
Yeah, it's messy work to kill someone.
I think with an axe, I would think so.
I'm just, in my head, I can picture Leonarda, like, with this axe, and she hits her and misses.
Oh, shit.
And she's
Oh,
like,
shit.
what?
Oh, shit. Right,
What?
exactly.
And
She's
she's like, gonna
vomiting.
swing again. He's like, what?
Right. I don't know
and
what shit
is she
is in
thinking-
Italian, but it would be funny if I did.
Like, where are the kids and her husband at this point?
Oh, well, they're not home. They're not. They're
So it's like
not
you
there.
have to do this all quickly and
Yeah.
dispose of, too.
Yeah, yeah, you do because they're, you've got a schedule to keep. So here's Leonarda,
Fungu.
right, panicking, continuing to sweatily swing this axe until bit by bit the remains of Faustina fall to the floor. There was blood everywhere. Before she realized it, it was her screaming, not Faustina anymore, because Faustina was gone. She dropped the axe, and there was so much blood on the floor that it actually, trigger alert, made a splash sound when the axe hit the floor. She really didn't think any of this through. This was quite a mess. So now she takes hands and limbs to like drain all of the blood. And this is so gruesome. She makes tea cakes with it.
With the dried blood, right?
With the blood.
Just the liquid blood at this point.
Yep.
Can we define a tea cake?
Like a
Oh,
little
just like what
tiny
you're
little
picturing.
crumpet?
A little
Yeah,
pastry.
like you would have
Okay.
Yeah,
at
just
tea. at
Yes, your
afternoon
tea time. A little tea and crumpet, if you will. Yes. Each piece of her body had to be worked to get all the remaining blood for the spell to work. Remember, this is a life for a life. So she puts the body in the boiling pots, literally like a witch. This is Hansel and Gretel shit happening here in real time, in large tubs with caustic soda, okay, which she used to render the fat into soap.
Kind of like lye.
Yeah. It's actually still used in some parts, like not as harsh as it is now, but
Okay.
for very similar things. Now, she
Turner
knew.
has a ton of it in her garage.
She knew. No.
Next to a large sink.
No.
All that stuff in your garage.
She knew from her books that this would dissolve everything. The hair, the teeth, the bones, everything. So, in the same pot, she's got on her stove, it is like a cauldron. This is the same tub and stove and pots that she uses to make her family meals every day. And now it is making Faustina tea cakes and soap. So she cleaned it all up while the blood was baking in the oven to be later ground up into the tea cakes. And then Faustina's body boiled on the stove, just like any other day in the kitchen. Just
I know.
call her Paula Deen.
It took a big swing, didn't it? A big turn from where she went before. It's a lot happened.
Now, all the bakers out there will be happy to know that the tea cakes came out beautifully, in her opinion. She couldn't taste a strong iron taste like she expected. But then again, she had wasted a lot of blood in the sloppy job, she thinks. So,
I thought you were going to say sloppy joes.
They don't have those.
no.
I was a red gravy and meat sauce.
When she opened the lid of one of the pots with the caustic soda, what she saw disgusted her. It was a sludge, slimy, and total filth.
Right.
Nothing that she could use to make soap out of.
No.
So while her clothing was soaking in vinegar to rid them of the blood, and the wine decanter that had the poison in it was boiling clean, she took the liquid remains of Faustina Setti and dumped them into buckets. Then she carried them to the nearest sewage hole and poured her into them. She poured Faustina
It had to have taken
down
some time.
the sewer.
Yes.
Oh, yes, this is not light work. No, that women were built different back then.
Like nobody's noticing.
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
a cauldron. No, because this is how everybody cooks. You got to dump your rendered fat somewhere. This is what these sewage holes are for. Nobody's thinking a thing. The only thing that Leonarda is thinking is she has failed, and now her failure is going to cost her son's life. This was her official statement on this regard. Quote, I threw the pieces into a pot, added 7 kilos of caustic soda, which I had bought to make soap, and stirred the mixture until the pieces dissolved into a thick, dark mush. Then I poured it into several buckets and emptied it in a nearby septic tank. As for the blood in the basin, I waited until it had coagulated, dried in the oven, ground it, and mixed it with flour, sugar, chocolate, milk, and eggs, as well as a bit of margarine.
Blood tea cakes
Ah,
with butter.
kneading all the ingredients together. I made lots of crunchy tea cakes and served them to the ladies who came to visit.
I think tea cakes are cookies. I think she basically made cookies with
brownies.
them. No, I think like cookies. She made like dry little crispies.
Right? Yeah, little shit.
Regardless.
Ginger
Blood-
snap.
Blood cakes.
They
like
were,
a Faustina snap.
they were Tina cakes.
Tina cakes.
Tina tea cakes.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
Also,
Old-timey cases help me remove myself.
sure.
It's not funny. I'm sorry this happened to the 40-year-old virgin.
my quote wasn't over.
Oh,
She
sorry.
said, I made lots of crunchy tea cakes and I served them to the ladies who came to visit, though Giuseppe and I also ate them. End quote.
Yeah.
Why?
She was protecting.
Why?
Maybe
Well-
she get a little bit in there.
Did she tell like Giuseppe's a 17-year-old boy now getting ready to go to war, and his buddies are like, he's like, dude, my mom made these great tea cakes,
Yeah.
and like one of his
These
buddies would be
kick-ass
like,
tea
dude,
cakes.
your mom's fucking
This
bonkers.
tastes like
Right.
Faustina
Remember that?
Setti.
Remember that old
No, I bet
Spencer
they were
Faustina?
good.
It smells like her.
You guys, she was known to. My understanding is she was known to be a good cook.
She
and
was.
baker.
She was. And here's the thing. She's a practical woman. She did not want anything to go to waste because that would mean her death was for nothing.
Right.
So her shop
Sustenance.
visitors and her family
Just
ate the
feed it
Faustina
to
cakes.
people?
She did.
Jason, we've done some cases on some weird barbecues on this. This is actually less offensive in terms of a dried blood tea cake.
Do you know what her regulars said? These are a little crunchier than usual, but they taste great.
Because they're
Yeah.
coagulated.
They're
And ground
human.
into powder.
They're human cakes.
Plasma.
Tina
Yeah.
cakes.
Tina cakes. She only had 3 months at this point before the military recruiter was due back in town to take Giuseppe away. Leonarda convinced herself that the reason Fawcetta did not work out is because she did not take into account that the exchange had not been an equal one. Giuseppe was young, and he had his whole life ahead of him. So she would also need to take one younger like
Oh.
him. I
Yeah,
know.
age was the problem.
That's the
And she is
problem.
completely
That's the problem
lost
here,
her
Leonarda.
fucking mind.
She loves her child more than anything or anyone else in the world,
Yes.
to their detriment.
Her next victim was a school teacher named Francesca Silvi. Okay, that was well liked by all. She was a young widow and had quit her job to take care of her ailing husband. But now she needed a new job, and she was not finding one that fit well. So it was hard for her, and hard for women, remember, at this time. So that's her next ploy. Leonarda tells her that there is a job at an elite school in Paisiza,
Sure.
in another town over, okay? And that they wanted her for the job, okay? So she follows the same format that she did with Faustina, with poor Francesca. And she tells her, you're due to arrive this day for this job. They want you. I'm the fortune teller. I know what's going on. You need to postmark this letter to your family, letting them know what is going on. And September 5th, 1940, she arrived early to say goodbye to her beautiful fortune teller before she departed. So, Leonardo sits her in a chair And guess what? She drinks the wine to settle her nerves. This time she wanted it to be cleaner. And so while she was drugged, she stripped her of her clothing and, of course, the 3,000 lire that she had on her. This time, Leonardo is not...
What was she going to do with it?
Right. Well, I think that's how...
Can't take it with you.
Right. That's probably what she told her. Now, Leonarda knows what to expect a little bit more this time, so she's not as frenzied. So she brings the axe down in the center of Francesca's skull this time.
You got to step to the left because you're naturally going to swing to the right if you're right-handed.
Sure.
So you adjust a little bit.
She did. She calibrated.
Good.
She calibrated
And
herself.
let's be fair,
That's how
she
you learn.
wanted to be more humane.
Yeah, that's how she had
She did.
good intentions.
At least this one did not suffer nearly as much. And also the blood dripping, this time she was ready with awaiting basins. It wasn't as messy and sloppy. So, trigger alert, next she separates the head, the limbs from the torso. She hangs them up as well to bloodlet them. She hacks away, seeing a yellow layer of fat that wasn't present with Faustina because Faustina was actually malnourished and skinny.
And we don't have an appropriate amount of collagen in our skin anymore when we're 40.
Right. So perhaps this is why it had not worked after all and wasn't due to a mystical reason of the exchange not being
Due
equal.
to fat content.
That's right. So this time she could see...
She traded it in for an Iberico ham. Yeah, it's all food quality.
Yes. She could see the gristle and bone, details that come to light later, okay? She was orderly and detached from this entire process, the same process that she ends up following with Faustina. Francesca was put in the same boiling pots with the caustic soda. Now, she also baked the blood for tea cakes, just as she did before. And this time they had such a bad iron taste that it set Leonardo's teeth on edge. So it must be the spell working, she decided. Or just the fact that this is a younger victim, and so she has more iron content in her blood, but whatever.
Right.
When she lifted the lid off the boiling pots and saw the same slop as the first time, she was enraged. She grabbed the nearest pot to throw it across the room when she realized the handle was hot and she seared her palm. She was being punished for her sins, and she understood and accepted this.
Damn
Correct.
curse.
Yep. When Giuseppe came home that night, he thought perhaps his mother was becoming mad again and would watch her carefully. The thing is, once the kitchen was clean and it was just things baking and pots boiling, that's how it always was in the busy kitchen. And sometimes soaps didn't work out and were dumped. So even this act, when she dumped Francesca in the septic pit, it was not out of ordinary behavior for her, ever, for the last 10 years. So nobody thinks anything of it. Now she is certain that something is wrong with the spell. All right, that's causing the ingredients to be useless for soap. It took her the entire next month of study to get it fully worked out and corrected in her mind. What was missing was emotions. She was going through both deaths unemotionally because these women didn't mean anything to her. So if she is going to save a life of someone she loves, then she also has to take a life of someone she loves. That is what is missing from her spells. Of course, we must just keep escalating. So her next victim then had to be someone she had affection for. And as it would turn out, a good friend of hers was looking for advice and looking to get out of Correggio. The woman's name was Virginia Casipo. Why did I don't remember this girl's name.
Casipo?
Casipo? Yeah, Casipo.
For sure.
She was a soprano singer, and she performed on elaborate stages in Milan. Her life was valuable like Giuseppe's, and she would be missed. Killing her would be emotional for Leonarda. So this must be it. For her, Leonardo claimed to have found work as a secretary for a mysterious impresario in Florence, okay, which is a producer, and they are often silent partners in headhunting. As with the other two women, she was instructed not to tell a single person where she was going. And of course, this beautiful woman agrees.
Because she's
Virginia.
her friend.
Mm-hmm.
She's her friend.
And on September 30th, 1940, she comes for one last visit to Leonarda. And the pattern of the murder was the same as the first two. There was some jealousy involved in this one, too, because Virginia had money and respect in town. So things Leonarda that had to work for her entire life because of her mother's fate all those years ago. So she shows up in furs and jewels, and this actually did piss her off. And at first, Virginia doesn't want to drink the wine. But she ended up, this is according to Leonarda's statement, quote, she ended up in the pot like the other two. Her flesh was fat and white. When it had melted, I added a bottle of cologne, and after a long time on the boil, I was able to make some most acceptable creamy soap. I gave bars to neighbors and acquaintances. The cakes, too, they were better. That woman was really sweet, end quote. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Isn't this horrible?
Awful.
Oh, so.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm kicking you.
She robbed her, obviously, of all of her things as well. This time she got 50,000 lire and jewelry and public bonds. And the clothes and shoes that she was wearing was worth a lot. So she stole them and sold them too. So at last she has tea cakes and she has this soap. And this is how she's going to protect her son from the inside and out. And so she does. This is so twisted.
So bad.
This is why Giuseppe wanted out of his mother's house. She forces Giuseppe to bathe in front of her while she rubbed the Virginia soap on him.
He was
embarrassed.
He doesn't know that this is Virginia
No,
soap.
of course not.
He doesn't know mom just killed three people
he
trying to
just
make
knows
magic soap.
his overprotective mom is bathing
Come here,
him
let me
before
bathe
he
you.
goes
You're
to
only 18. It's fine.
right before he goes to
Yeah.
war.
Yep.
Like he's still in the
This
tit.
poor kid-
He's still in the tit. He's like
Yes.
48 months.
Yes.
Yes.
He's like 148
Right.
months.
He sure is. He was embarrassed. He tried to conceal himself, but she wanted to make sure that the soap touched every single part of his
Oh,
body.
mom. He's like, come here. Let me get in there with it.
Seriously, hold on. Let me
just like,
spread them. Get through the ferret.
You know that they weren't circumcising that.
No. Oh, God. You know, she was just like, make sure that I get every part.
She's just slide it back.
Every
Smedge him out.
single part. The starfish and all.
All the spots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm a baker, son. Show me your cinnamon ring.
Oh.
She should do your surgery on Monday. She's got you covered.
Listen, poor Giuseppe, he's so traumatized. His mother has just assaulted him. I mean, truly. He didn't want to talk to her after this violation. She had him come into the kitchen where they shared Virginia tea cakes. So the thing is that Virginia's sister was actually suspicious of her sister's sudden disappearance and had last seen her entering Leonarda's house.
Yeah. This
So,
was bad planning on her part.
it
She
was.
was killing somebody who would be missed. This time.
Mm-hmm. She then goes to the police, the superintendent of police, Reggio Emiliana,
That was beautiful.
who,
Makes me hungry a little.
I know, I am too. Italian does sound good.
Yeah.
And so she says, hey, my sister's missing, and the last time I saw her, she was entering the shop, and I never saw her come back. So they open an investigation, and they soon arrest Leonarda. Now, she doesn't confess to the murders until they believed that her son, Giuseppe Pansardi was involved in the crime. They mistakenly went after Giuseppe for the murder
Yeah.
of Virginia instead of Leonarda, because this older woman that just is the town's fortune teller and tea cake maker and soap maker, who's gonna
She's a good
accuse her?
citizen.
So at this point in time, when Giuseppe is about to be arrested for the murder, she confessed. She provided details accounts of what she had done to save her son from any blame. She gave intimate details like the color of the fat and the layers to prove that she had done it and was just not simply trying to save her son. You know what I mean? Because they're like, oh, no, this was your son that did it. She's like, no, really, let me give you all the dirty details. He has no clue. And then also let me tell you about how I bathed him as a grown-ass adult against his will.
Forced bath time, family fun.
And then Leonardo proved that she was able to chop up the bodies alone and without Giuseppe's help by dismembering a corpse at a local morgue in just 12 minutes, because that's the type of scientific tests that they did back then.
Like, no way, I'm pretty good at it. Watch.
And they're like, where are we going to get a body? Let's go to the local morgue.
Which only works in a situation where she was trying to take culpability and try to confess. Because any other time that happens, somebody's going to pretend they don't know how to do it.
Right.
I have no idea what I'm doing here.
So, Leonarda was tried for the murders in 1946. She's 53 at this time. And it took 6 years because of the war that was raging, by the way. Her husband remained by her side as much as he could, but he did feel shamed, and he died before she ever went to trial by drinking himself to death. And that's one of the most tragic parts of this story. He was a good man.
He was, but that man got driven to drink at that point.
He did.
How do you fucking live with yourself at this point?
And all the years that he had lived with her significant mental illness.
Yes.
I'm surprised it took that long.
Giuseppe left for war and never spoke to her again. She remained unrepentant. She was going
She
far.
saved him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She was going so far as to correct the official account while on the stand at her trial. Okay.
Listen, that's the time to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna
If you're gonna confess,
if I'm gonna go down for this, you better get it right.
Yeah.
And she did. She argued with the experts that claimed caustic soda would not have broken down the body, and she literally stood up and was like, "Bring me a body. I'm going to show you how it's done."
Yeah. Took me a couple fails, but I finally figured out the right fat
Yeah.
to
It's
caustic
like, no, I got
soda
the right
ratio.
formula. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Made it nice and creamy. Y'all ate it in your fucking tea cakes.
Yep, sure did. By the by.
God.
Like, what's the crime for feeding people Francesco tea cakes?
I
At
don't
that
know
point in
that they
time, I
had
don't know that
one.
there was.
No,
There
it's
should
just
be
frowned upon. It's just frowned upon.
Her crime was with the church.
It was. It was.
Cannibalism.
The Lord was going to take care
The
of her.
Lord does not allow that.
No. Only in extreme circumstances where the person has already died and you need to stay alive.
I don't think that's in the Bible.
Oh, it should be.
Maybe
There
a
needs to be a clause.
Maybe a different religious text
Perhaps.
has that in it.
Now, here's the thing. They do bring in a cauldron, and they do bring in another corpse. Like, the amount of corpses that were donated to the trial
Why
of
did she have to
Leonarda.
prove that?
Because they did not believe. The experts were saying caustic soda is not going to do this. And she's like,
The
the
hell it
fuck it won't.
where do you think the bodies went?
So they prove it in court. Which, by the way, that poor
Maybe-
jury, because that
Yeah,
doesn't
I know.
smell good, by the
Maybe
way.
they thought she had disposed of them someplace and wanted to know where they were, and she's like, they aren't anywhere. I liquefied
they're
them and poured
fucking
them in the
soup.
sewer.
Yep.
And you ate some and you washed with some.
Yep.
And they're like, no fucking way.
By the way, Judge, remember when you mentioned that tea cake was a little crunchy?
Yeah.
That was Faustina. I
Right.
perfected it the next time.
Yeah, that
with
was a
poor
Tina snap.
Francesca.
Francesca tasted more like pennies, but it was
It
pretty
did,
good.
yeah, but other than that, and then Virginia, well, she was sweet as could be.
Like a rose. Well, I mean, she added cologne. This is when she realized that you can scent the soaps.
Yes, just a little pepper, little bit of
Creamed right
lavender.
Some Axe body spray.
She was right as rain. Oh, gosh. So she also testified that she gave the copper ladle that she had used to skim the fat off the kettles to her country, which was so badly in need of metal during the last days of the war. So she's
She
just a
acted
servant of
kindly.
Italy.
Yes.
She was found guilty of her crimes, and she was sentenced to 30 years in prison and 3 years in a criminal asylum. Do you remember the fortune teller that said, on one hand, I see prison, on the other hand, I see an asylum? But don't be dogging on the real fortune tellers out there.
That's right.
Her time in prison, well, it wasn't so bad, Jason. She was met with cheer and a standing ovation, and she was given a job in the prison as well.
In the
Because-
kitchen?
Aren't
In
you-
the kitchen.
Well, all people are given
Yeah.
a job, and we have to look at what their skill set is. And she was older, so she was the cook, I shit you not.
So these people in
In
prison
prison.
are like, dude, here comes a crazy old lady that fucking cook people.
That made
Yes.
soap.
Oh,
Finally, someone interesting around here.
listen.
Huzzah!
This was not frowned upon. She was a well-liked cook in
Yes.
prison.
Also, she was known for continuing her readings in prison to other inmates. She was well liked. Some did fear her witchy ways, but for the most part, she was very well liked, and her food was delicious. And they're almost certain there were no people in it in prison. Almost. But the way they've been haphazard with corpses through this whole trial, I'm not certain that they didn't go, you know what, that's perfectly good meat. It's cheaper than buying meat for these prisoners. So
those are things I don't like to think about.
No.
Well, I'm just saying.
Institutionalized cannibalism bothers me.
Right.
Her doing it to save her son because she's crazy bothers me a lot less.
A little less, yeah.
I don't know what that says about me, but it's true.
I agree.
She pulled a good intention, Sweeney Todd. Like, this is...
Yeah.
She did. She really did. What do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
It is.
Sure.
And people soup and...
Right.
Yes.
All kinds of
Crumpets.
things. Yep. And
Blood tea
Faustina
cakes.
tea
Faustina
cakes.
tea cakes.
20 years into her 30-year sentence, she had a stroke, and it was discovered that she had a slow bleed at the time, thought to be from her childhood trauma or seizures. I mean, she was suffering, just like the fortune teller from long, long ago told her, this isn't the curse, this is an
And
illness.
I'm surprised she lived that long.
Right.
With all
Me
of
too.
her
Correct.
Right.
issues.
She was made of thick stock, man. That
That
was not a
time-
cooking joke.
Oh, God. It was, though. You thick stocked us.
I did.
Bone brothed us, so
She
to speak.
She was. She wrote a 700-page autobiography called The Confessions of an Embittered Soul. It goes through her entire life story and has many, many stories that were never substantiated. And if they are true, then she slept with half of her country. She did take a lover in prison, and her book had a bunch of recipes. And to her knowledge of cookery, and literally those recipes are alongside gruesome details of her murders. It is like it's a murdery cookbook.
I've seen
but with
it.
some legitimate recipes.
I'm going to fangirl for a minute, and this is terrible about me. In New Orleans, at the Museum of Death, you cannot take pictures inside, but it's way worth the couple bucks it costs to go in and look around in there, and it's quick, too. They have her Leonarda's cookbook that she wrote in prison there displayed.
Yep.
You can see it.
This book was one of the most complete collections of traditional Italian baking techniques ever written and is still referred to by some top chefs of Italy today.
Like Lydia Bastianich.
I mean, they take out the murdery ones.
Yeah, you got to take out her soap
they didn't
recipe
take
and her
those
tea
recipes.
cakes, but other
Right.
than that.
Right. So, Leonarda died of cerebral apoplexy.
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 I think that's a
Why
stroke.
do I not have my reading glasses on when I do this? In the Women's Criminal Asylum in Pazzuli on October 15th, 1970. She lived to 1970.
It's a hemorrhage. It's an acute stroke.
Yeah. Okay,
She
well,
had an acute
which that
stroke.
makes sense. Again,
Yeah.
that is likely from her childhood trauma, head
Yeah.
trauma. So she died right before she was due to be released. The cause of the brain bleeding was discovered by doctors who were looking over her notes, her case notes, and it was, they believe, they made note, it could potentially have been caused by caustic soda vapor poisoning.
Yeah.
Ain't that some shit? Karma coming back around. She did have brain bleeds and strokes because of her trauma, but the professionals believe that this particular bleed that killed her
Now,
was from
this could have been
caustic soda
avoided
vapor
had
poisoning.
Italy not awarded a rapist with his victim.
Right.
Yep.
Congratulations, you can have her.
Right.
There you go.
Right. That it's so true. All of this tragedy could have been prevented just, by holding people accountable for their crimes, especially sexual assault crimes. Anyway, psychologists did try to dissect her reasoning for her murderous ways, but what it really boils down to is that she suffered mental illness
No
her
pun
entire
intended.
life.
What it
Jesus.
boils down to.
That's so bad.
I'm sorry.
There's nothing left for you to say.
There's not.
They're all puns.
I know. Her children, by the way, I didn't finish that thought. Sorry.
Yeah.
Her mental illness, which we know is from her childhood trauma, but it was chalked up to also her obsession in the occult. All right. And it didn't go, what am I trying to say? It was accepted, I guess, like at the time, right? That these things, clearly her family could see she was off her rocker,
Yeah.
but they were just chalking it up to kind of her obsession with the occult. But-
Obsession with the occult. She's been mentally ill the entire time
Yes.
they've known her, and her husband's known her because of this.
They haven't
whole
known her
Kirk
any
thing.
other way.
And let's be clear, during that time frame, and I've talked to my mom about this, if you were an epileptic during that time and having significant seizures that were untreated all the time too, she was slowly creating brain damage anyway.
Oh, yes.
So it's not shocking. And she was potentially seeing visions and delusions that were real. They were legit real.
Yes.
They just weren't necessarily the occult. They were her brain.
They were her brain.
Slowly bleeding for 40-some years.
Yep. Her children were ashamed. It's believed that they took the chaos of the war to change their name. Record keeping was not a priority back then, and it was the perfect time for them to slip through the cracks. There is no record of them. It is not known if she outlived all of them or not. As for Giuseppe, there is a record of him going to Africa for the war, and when it ended, he would have still been there. But there is no record of him coming back from Africa. So he either died in battle or he took the opportunity to change his name prior to returning. In an ironic twist, she had lost her children because none of them spoke to her again. She was 79 years old when she died.
So she did lose her whole family.
She did.
Yeah.
That is 100% that she would live to an old age and that she would lose all of her children and outlive them. Now, we don't know if specifically those last 4, she technically outlived them. However, she did lose them. She did not get to live with them.
I wonder if they stayed in touch with their poor dad for a while before he drank himself to death.
Well, remember, he died before the trial was over. He died during all of this, and it was delayed by 6 years because of the war.
So, her son and the daughter, and then I can't remember. Were there 3 of them or 4 left?
There was 4.
Okay, so they were a little bit older, but she had a younger one still at home. Who wasn't old enough to go to war because she'd had that baby after she got out of prison for her little 18-month stint for robbery.
Yep.
So I would assume he was still home with his dad at that point. It's like, did he get adopted out, that young one? Or maybe he wasn't young by the end of this and he was a legal adult
because if
too.
you think about it, 6 years happened before the trial did.
Yeah,
of course, that's when he was drinking himself. The father was drinking himself to
Okay.
death. But she was still there. She was in prison. So he would have had to have been given to somebody else while they were waiting for the trial. And then she was, sentenced for 30 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's crazy. There is a dark comedy play about Leonarda called Love and Magic in Mama's Kitchen. So
I'd watch it.
The
I probably
play,
would
I
too,
know.
wouldn't we?
the play began to run on Broadway in 1983. And if anybody ever wants to do it again, I would
If
go
they
see
bring that back,
in
I
a
would
heartbeat.
too. That'd be an interesting community theater piece if somebody was okay with the grotesque and true crime. I really think it'd be kind of neat.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
think our
There's
local
probably a
theater
way
is
you
gonna
could
do
do
it.
it.
No, but it'd be pretty epic if they did. I would legit try out for that play. You guys know I used to act. I acted all in college and stuff too, and I was so try out for that play. That'd be a blast.
That would be a lot of fun.
I have a joke for you, Jason.
Oh.
So a lady walks in to this pharmacist, and it's like one of those hardware stores, and she's clearly having a bad day, and she's like, "Sir, I'd like to buy some arsenic." And he's like, well, what do you need it for? And she goes, well, I'm going to kill my husband. And he goes, ma'am, I can't sell you that. And she hands him a picture of her husband in bed with the pharmacist's wife. And he says, oh, you didn't tell me you had a prescription.
There you go.
Oh, and you know what? I think that could be our brain
lost
bath. That can be our brain bath.
We
I'm
lost
still
you,
here.
Sharna.
I'm still
Okay.
here.
All right.
Don't worry.
That
Don't
or
worry about it.
my friend that called right before we started recording.
Yes, tell
He was at a track meet for his daughter, who's like a sophomore, I think, in high school, and another girl from another school fell and got hurt doing hurdles, and so she's laying on the track like she was actually hurt.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
And her mother was in the stands, at a football field. Where,
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And instead of she ran down the bleachers, and instead of just going down the stairs at the bottom of the bleachers to the field, she tried to climb the fence and then fell and dropped about 9 feet and broke her leg.
No shit.
This just happened.
That's over-parenting.
Oh,
She over-parented.
no.
Of course, my buddy's standing there watching this all, unravel. What the fuck?
She
Did he videotape
She
it?
overreacted is what she did.
He's like,
It was panic.
He's just like, why didn't you just take the stairs?
Seriously.
He's like, it's 5 more feet away.
And this is how people die.
This would
in
be like,
weird
this was like a
circumstances.
woman probably in her 40s, thinking, yeah, I can still do this.
For sure.
She,
Then
try-
halfway up, she's like,
No,
I
you
can't.
can't.
Can't do it.
Abort,
Just
abort.
drop.
Ma'am, as someone who hikes actual mountains, you cannot.
You cannot.
You cannot.
Nope.
I cannot. We
Nope.
cannot.
Nope. Totally get it. I sat too long yesterday doing research for another case that it's a two-parter I'm going to be bringing you guys really soon, but it took me literally all day, and I stood up and said, I have to go get on my exercise bike because I've sat too long. Matt's like, do you realize how that sounds? I'm like, yes, I'm stiff. I must go exercise because I'm stiff. It's where we're at now in life. Anyway, thank you all so much for hanging in with us. Hope you enjoyed this extra long episode today. And we do hope that you keep it curious.
And keep listening.
Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, used to chase the tears in a different kind of grind, helping little ones leaving our old selves behind. Chanel, Jason, Megan, a trio strong and true, but the system wore us out, needed something fresh and new. So we flipped the script, found the mic and the beat. From deep investigations to stories bittersweet. Prosecutor, the judge, that's Megan on the mic. Chanel digs the dirt, makes sure the facts are right. Crime curious, yeah, that's the name we claim. Shaking our grief, fanning the curious flame. From global listeners to the brain bag we provide. Keep it curious, keep listening with nowhere to hide. Jason's got the wisdom and the jokes to make us smile. Keeps the energy flowing for every single mile. We dive into the dark where the mysteries reside, unraveling the truth with nowhere left to hide. Laws and evidence, Megan lays it down with grace, while Chanel's deep research sets the compelling pace. Crime curious, yeah, that's the name we claim. Shaking our great, fanning the curious flame. From global listeners to the brain bag we provide. Keep it curious, keep listening with nowhere to hide. Don't ask about the raccoons, some secrets we just keep. But every week we're digging secrets buried deep. For every mind that wonders, for every soul that seeks, we're here to break it down in our Crime Curious Speaks. Crime Curious, yeah, that's the name.